Day to you.
Good morning and thank you. Yeah, happy Canada Day to you all.
And where are you celebrating, Ingrid?
I'm in Lethbridge, Alberta, Paulo's hometown, and I'm going to be heading to Coutts, Alberta for a wedding in about an hour.
Okay, I'll blast through this conversation so you can get on the road. But listen, before we do, I have a lot of things to talk to the two of you. Apollo Canada Day, you are going to be on Team Canada swimming for this country. So you're going to maybe see the maple leaf a little bit differently as a result of this Olympic experience. I'm just wondering, what does it mean to you to be able to wear for the very first time the maple leaf and represent Canada?
It means the world to me. I think definitely, as an athlete growing up in Canada, you always want to represent your country and rep the leaf like that. So for me, it's just a lifelong dream come true.
And Ingrid, to hear that, a lifelong dream come true, to have your son be able to realize a lifelong dream and to go to the Olympics, and then for you to be able to go there and see him compete there, what does it mean to you?
Well, I'm just fighting back my tears right now. I'm just overwhelmed with emotion. Every day I have these waves of I'm filled with pride. It means so much to me and to my family, to his brothers. We're enormously proud of him, and we've cheered on. I've cheered on all three of my boys in all kinds of athletic endeavors, and so I'm primed, ready to go and cheer on Canada in Paris, and especially Apollo.
Remco and Till, your two other boys and Apollo's brother. I'll tell you, Ingrid, why I really wanted to make sure we all spoke today. And that is because Apollo shared with me just how much he wouldn't have accomplished anything without you. So Apollo, if you wouldn't mind, in case anyone missed that conversation, you followed a unique pathway in terms of your background and your family history. Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah, so growing up, didn't grow up with a dad, but I never needed one. My mom did everything for me. She always made sure we had food on the table and clothes on our backs, and she gave us every opportunity in the world. We all did all kinds of sports, music lessons, just kind of everything. So yeah, for me, my mom's just she's my hero, and yeah.
I think the tears might come back, Ingrid, listening to your boy talk about you in those terms. He was so clear in all of that. I'm wondering, because I wanted to meet you, what was your approach? There were certainly challenges for Apollo, and perhaps there were for your other two sons as well, but there were challenges along the way. But how did you see it? How did you approach raising him? What was the view?
Well, I never wanted my kids to miss out on things because they came from a single parent family home. I remember, well, there you hear my dog in the background maybe, but when they were little, friends of ours and also my mom said, you can't get a dog, you're a single parent family. And I thought, baloney, I'm going to get a dog. And we had Risky, a Bernese mountain dog, and she was with us for almost 12 years. And that was kind of central to me, that we have opportunities and that I don't tell them, no, I can't do that. We can't have that. We can't go there. We did trips. I took them to Europe twice. We did a cycling trip through from England to the Netherlands, where my mom hailed from, and into Germany. And Paula was 7 at the time, I think, or maybe just 8. And, we just did things, and I just was determined that my kids wouldn't miss out on opportunities. And so it often meant a little bit of craziness in our household, and sometimes shipping him with another family to get to provincials, because I had a trial to do the first day of provincials and I would come up after, or we would, rely on people to help us from time to time to make sure that, if one was in a tournament in Medicine Hat and the other one was in a swim meet in Calgary, we would get to where we needed to go, and I would be there as much as possible. And we had a motorhome, and we used to go, I used to like on a Friday night, pack them in the motorhome, and they would fall asleep. And I would drive, for example, to Fernie for a swim meet or to Medicine Hat. And they'd wake up in the morning and I'd put their breakfast on the table and they'd tootle across the parking lot in their swim trunks and get in the pool. And I would walk the dog and then I'd come in and watch them. And I just made it happen. I was determined to make it happen for them.
Apollo, you were not exaggerating when you told me your mom made it all possible. No wonder she's your hero, and no wonder you're so grateful for her. I want to ask you, Ingrid, but I want to ask Apollo too. You know, here in St. John's, Apollo, I don't know if you saw earlier, but we had a really moving part of the Canada Day celebration, which was a moment of Indigenous reflection, and your Indigenous heritage comes from your father's side of things. But we had an Indigenous reflection earlier in the program, past, present, and future. You are, as I mentioned, the first Indigenous swimmer to represent Canada at Olympic Games, first from your blood tribe, first from the Kainai Nation. So you could very well be a part of this future. What role do you hope to play?
I just want to inspire as many people as I can. I just think I was so blessed with everything I had growing up, all the opportunities my mom gave me, just like all the facilities I had access to. I just think there's so many Indigenous kids out there that don't have access to those facilities and those opportunities. And so, I'd like to think of myself kind of as like an example of what we can do as a people given the opportunities.
An example of what we can do as a people. How does that sound to you, Ingrid? What role do you hope your son plays in terms of a role model for Indigenous young people like him?
Well, I see him as being an advocate, like I am. So I hope he's gained from me that skill of advocacy because, there are a lot of Indigenous kids who are enormously talented and who have so much potential, and we need to make sure that they are given opportunities. We have duties and obligations under the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's guidelines. And, I one time brought Apollo's uncle, Charlton Weaselhead, to meet with the LASC Swim Club to see what they could do to live up to the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. And I think Apollo's going to live that out more than me because he has the platform and he has the ability. So I think, living up to the calls to action is the first step in making Olympic dreams come true for Indigenous kids. We have to get Indigenous kids in the pool. There aren't very many, and the ones that are coming are mostly living in town. So we need to have a swimming pool on the Blood Reserve, for example. And I see Apollo as being someone who within his community can take a leadership role in making those kind of things happen. And then they need skillful trainers and they need fair rules and fair treatment. And that's sometimes an issue. And so I think he's set to take on that leadership role because he has everything he needs to be a role model and to be a spokesperson and to be agitating for improvement for the situation for Indigenous kids and families.
As the saying goes, Ingrid, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I can see where he gets it from as I listen to you, which is exactly why I wanted to meet you after having met your son. What a pleasure, what an honor. Ingrid, I'm going to be in Paris, so I've already booked your son for an interview. You'll have to come and meet me in person too, and we'll all have a conversation there. As you're cheering him on, I hope we'll certainly be watching. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, Apollo. Happy Canada Day to both of you, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
See you soon. So Apollo Hess and his mom, Ingrid. Now, there are hundreds of members on Team Canada, and the chef de mission has not had a chance to meet them all yet, but you can bet he's going to be very, very involved in all of the